Alrighty, traders. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to the AAA session today. Welcome everyone here to the what I'm going to call a great stock session. Got a lot of chit chat about, of course, crypto stocks. We're going to have something to do with currencies today as well, but more focus on stocks right now. I know Chris and Tyson have brought something together, and we're going to talk about some opportunities that we're going to be outlining today. So with that being said, I'm not going to go ahead and take too much more time explaining what we're going to do, but just get into the details of what we're going to do. So let's go into the first introduction to Chris and Tyson. Tyson, good morning. Good afternoon for everyone, right? We're in the same time zone. Good afternoon to you, Tyson.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Gary. It's good to have you back on the AAA. It's been a few weeks, but it's good to be back. Got a lot to talk about today. I actually shared a workspace that everybody can have access to at the end of this session.
Perfect. And Chris, good afternoon to you.
Nice to see everybody. Happy Monday. Back from the dead. Looking forward to a nice week being back live.
I'm actually struggling a little bit with my throat right now and straining a little bit at the moment right now. I was actually had a weekend of celebration or celebrating my son's engagement. At his engagement party, we celebrated his engagement. And so I had to get the party going, man. These kids, these youngsters, man, they just don't know how to get things moving. So I had to get the party going, and you can hear my voice. It's like too much strain. But it was a good weekend.
That, your brother is doing really well in one of the PGA events also, and there might be some celebration there.
There was a lot of celebration with that as well. Yes, he actually should have won the European tournament that held over the weekend in Qatar. He came second, but he was leading on the third round, and he missed it by one shot with the guy sinking a 60-foot putt on the 18th to make birdie to win the tournament outright. So that was a little sad, but he played level part of the last round. He should have played better to win the tournament, but it is what it is. You know, sometimes the sun doesn't shine on you that day. So
second place against world class. That's pretty amazing, man. That's
awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
These guys. If you watch the third day, how they played in the third day, the gust of wind that came in the third day, for him to play one under par and to be the only player throughout the whole field to be under par for 3 rounds. So that was pretty good. Well, let's get into some stocks, man. Let's get into stocks. So, Tyson, tell me, what do you got here for the students? Let's talk about some stock options.
Yeah, so you told me we're going to keep it, really, really simple. So I just wanted to make sure we keep it as simple as possible. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to talk to you guys about a Jade calendar credit spread with a little bit of a butterfly twist. And no, I'm joking.
What? I'm like, what?
That's a joke. Obviously, stocks and options can get kind of complicated. I don't want to make things complicated today. I want to make things pretty straightforward. I believe the market is going to continue to rally up. I am bullish for now. And I say for now because I think we will see a time. In fact, there's some seasonality to the time that we're in, but I don't necessarily think that we're going to start to see any type of major profit taking or major sell-off until maybe into the summer, late summer. I think there's some seasonals that can spot that. But for now, we've got money hitting bank accounts again from the stimulus. I heard a stat, maybe you guys can correct me, but I think it was 85% of the population will get some sort of a stimulus. So that's good for those that are. And I think bank accounts are still pretty flush. The money supply out there in the system, the savings rates are high. And I think what's happening in a lot of these stocks, I think they're in the headlines. And people are looking at the money being made in Bitcoin and the stock market and GameStop and all that. And I think what they're going to look at is, hey, I now got some more money. I need to catch up and I need to put this money to work. And so I think we're going to continue to see a rally. We are getting potentially near some euphoric levels, but euphoria doesn't typically end at a basing of a top. Euphoria typically ends at a blow off top, meaning, we see multiple days of 1%, 2%, 3% rallies without any type of pause in stocks. That's when a blow off top, or that's when a big top typically forms. So I don't see that yet. We'll try to keep you up to date when that happens. However, I did share a workspace, Gary. If you want to open it up, I'm not sure if you can get that link that I sent you. But I did share a workspace, and it's got kind of 4 different stocks. There's themes that I like a lot. And these are going to be these are themes that I think we can play now for the short term, medium term. And honestly, guys, I think that these are pretty phenomenal buy and hold trades that, when a low tide is going to sink all ships. So I think that if the market crashes down, these stocks are going to go down also. But relatively speaking, I see these as great growth value stocks. So here's the deal. The future is, from what I can see, is made up of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. And there's stocks that are going to focus on cryptocurrency and blockchain. And so one of those stocks is VIH. It's a SPAC. These are very SPAC-y plays, right? SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies. So VIH is buying a company, super interesting. It's buying a company called Bakkt, B-A-K-T-T. And Bakkt is a company, a spinoff from the New York Stock Exchange, multi-billion-dollar company. It's partnered with New York Stock Exchange. It's the cryptocurrency equivalent to the New York Stock Exchange. They are the ones that are bringing options and futures to cryptocurrencies to the market. They also have partnerships with companies like Microsoft that are bought into this company. So it's backed by a huge multi-billion-dollar company. They want to be the leaders within the cryptocurrency derivatives world, but they also, very interesting, they also want to be the leader in rewards. I want you guys to think about your credit cards, your rewards that you have. I've got a couple credit cards. In fact, I end up paying everything that I pay for is via credit card, and then I pay it off at the end of the month for those rewards. Well, imagine all your miles. Now you're able to go to an exchange and put your 27,000 miles that you have on your credit card on an exchange, and you can actually get cash equivalent because people can trade those. So they're going to open up this rewards exchange, which I think is going to be huge. In fact, they've said that's potentially a $1 trillion market in itself, the rewards. So Bakkt is going to be one of the major players in that. So VIH, awesome crypto play. My next one, GIK. I've been talking about this one for a while. It's played games with me. It's come down. It's going back up. It's all over the board. All of this is noise between now and the next month or so until the merger happens. They are merging with a company called Lightning eMotors. Think of Amazon delivery vehicles. They have partnerships with Amazon. They have partnerships with UPS. Think of government contracts with fire trucks and with ambulances. They retrofit to go completely electronic. Another cool thing about them is they want to be a one-stop shop. If a city comes to them and says, hey, I need my ambulances, my fire trucks, and all of this and all of our work vehicles retrofitted to become electric, they'll actually put the infrastructure for the charging in also. So they want to be that one-stop shop with charging, with the trucks, and with the maintenance, which is big. I think these are all 10X companies, guys. I think this is a company that sitting at $12.30 right now. Fast forward 3 to 5 years from now, could be a $100, $200 company. GNOG is entertainment, golden nugget. Now this is my reopening play. I believe we're going to start to reopen. I think people are going to be traveling around. They're going to go to casinos. I like GNOG because they have a casino play, in-person casino play throughout the country. They also have a very nice online presence, and they have a brand, Golden Nugget. People know about the Golden Nugget. So GNOG, it's trading at a fair value right now. I like it. Again, I don't know if that one's a 10X, but I think to look for a $30 price target, $40 price target in the next year, I think is very fair. And then my last one, this is my spec play. This is also a reopening play. It's car lots. Think of Carvana. Think of different CarMax. This is a competitor. It became a SPAC. They actually are already a profitable company. They're planning on opening, I believe, like 280 different new car lots they have. They're flush with cash, and they're trading at a massive discount right now to their peers. And I could see probably this could be one of the biggest bangs within the next year. This one could grow 5 to 10% or 5 to 10 times its current value right now. So LOTZ is car lots. Those are my 4 favorite kind of plays and themes of where we're at within the world right now. I know that was a handful, but hopefully that was simple enough for everybody to follow.
I'm going to open it up to Chris. Chris, what are your thoughts on these stocks, and are these something that you're also looking at?
Yeah, so GIK and GNOG, I've actually been in with Tyson since we talked about those months ago. I know that the GIK one is or GIK is all about when the actual SPAC goes public, if you will. And what we've seen a lot of those, Tysons, when you talk about these SPACs and we've gotten in early, you're typically looking at a 30, 40, 50% bump. I mean, I would say if traders are more short term on some of these SPAC plays, you could probably look at a 25 to 50% gain over the coming months. But if you're willing to hold it more long term,
I think a price target real fast on that. I think a price target on that one very fair would be easily going back up to that 16 to 18 level.
Correct.
Maybe putting in a double top. I'd probably put in some profits there, because typically what happens is we get that merger pop, we then sell off, and then. But again, this could be one of those stocks, Chris, that is just don't trip over the pennies. I see this as $100+ stock in the next 3 to 5 years.
Right, and so the lots one I'm actually really interested in. I've actually, so personally, I had some Carvana experience the last couple of years. I sold a couple of cars. I think what they do is great. And talking to some friends of mine in the auto industry, Carvana is trying to become like the Kelley Blue Book of the used car deal or the used car world, where their appraisal values. I mean, if you go to, I don't know if anybody's used the website, but it's super user friendly. Take out the middleman, take out the haggling and the hassle that goes on with a dealership, and nothing against used car salesmen, but you never feel like you get a good deal, right? You always feel like you as soon as you step in a car, get into one, depreciates right off the lot. You never get your money back out of it. But with Carvana, you take all that stuff out. It's just user experience. It's convenient. But with lots, I mean, look, the way to play that, I mean, I think $9 is an awesome price. I mean, literally the last couple of months, I've been looking at just straight up value stocks. Like, what can I find out there that's under $20? What can I find out that's under $15? And see, is there merit to actually buying stocks at these low prices? And, what type of upside do we have? And something like that, I mean, even if it was an automaker, like, I mean, I bought Ford at $4.50. Ford's at like $12. If lots is a $9 stock that goes to $25, $30, $50, I mean, it's an amazing opportunity. So minimum downside. I love the fact that it's minimum downside, and let's say over the next 12 to 24 months, it's however upside wants to take off. And one thing that we do know is that the used car industry is massive. And what's going to be really interesting is this shift of, either like retrofitting actual gas vehicles into electric vehicles, doing that in not only your cars themselves, but also inside homes. Like, are you going to get your charging stations set up in your home? Like, I have some neighbors in the area that they have Tesla cars. Tesla comes to your home and does all the setups for you and rewires your garage just so this industry is not going to stop. And Tyson's been a trailblazer for us here at Market Traders, where he's talking about this EV play. He's talking about these opportunities where EV is, and I think that right now it's very hot, it's very popular, and maybe we're getting ahead. Maybe we're starting to buy now early enough in the EV sector that we might be in before all of the growth. We might be in where it sounds exciting. We maybe have some pops here and there, but look, take something like Workhorse, right? WKHS, is that what Workhorse is? If I get the ticker right, Workhorse. They dropped their contract with the Postal Service, and it was just absolutely crushed. They were up to over $40 a share, and Workhorse got crushed back down below $15. Now I'm in at $17 on Workhorse, and I leveled in a couple of times. I started buying it around 27. I got in at the yearly pivot, which is right at $17. So I've leveled myself into Workhorse. I love the structure back to around $28 to $30 on Workhorse. I think that's again, kind of playing off the EV stuff. I think that structurally and technically Workhorse has the ability to get back to that $27, $28 area. I will probably take some profit on Workhorse at that level and try to get myself in at a better price, just because there is an incredible amount of bearishness looking at the stock right now. But one thing I talked about this morning in my weekly outlook is, and Tyson and I were talking about this before we started the session, I think that 2021 is the type of year where we have drifting and continuation, not so much blow-off rallies. Now, like Tyson said, if you start to see a blow-off rally, we've rallied 3+% in the Dow Jones just in the last week. Off the tops, by the way, like the Dow Jones is 3% higher than the previous high. That is outperforming the Nasdaq. That is outperforming the SPY. And so, am I saying that the Dow Jones is a blow-off top? No, but I'm saying that is probably going to pull back. All right. If you look at the SPY, and the Dow Jones are kind of outpacing right now the Nasdaq. Nasdaq was overvalued. Tech stocks were overvalued. They stretched a little bit farther, and you can see that volatility played out this year. The tech stocks have already dropped. We had a dip around 12% in the Nasdaq, and then that dip was bought. Now, the Nasdaq has to make a very important rally, because are we going to retake the highs from last month, or is the Nasdaq going to continue to struggle to take out highs, where maybe we sit in limbo where it's not above the highs and it's not below that 12% sell-off lows? And so if Gary brings up a chart on the Nasdaq, take a look at the QQQ, and you're going to see the important levels that the Nasdaq has to either go back up to or cross back down below. Because I will say that tech, with all of the the overvalued tech from last year that led the way, high concentration into just a very small amount of tech stocks. If the Nasdaq breaks below 30, or with the Nasdaq, I guess it'd be breaking below like 12,900. If the QQQ breaks below $300, I think the Qs have room to drop all the way to like 260. We could talk about like a 20 to 30% drop from top to bottom on the Nasdaq. Now, I look at that as, I think that's a great correction. I think that you can buy some amazing tech-heavy companies that can really shake up the industry, that have huge market share in the industry, and I think that you can buy them at an incredible discount. So all this really means for me as a stock trader investor is that I am constantly looking for value. I am constantly looking for prices and levels that I want to buy in at, and levels that I'm willing to hold. So what I think that this is what traders and investors could do to make a big mistake. If they're going to go heavy right now on anything, I think that could be the problem. Because if you overcommit to the certain prices, like right now, I think, look, overall prices are still pretty elevated. Prices are higher than I'd really want them to be, because unless you had a big part of last year's rally, you're essentially buying the highs. And I know that we could drift a little bit higher. We can have these highs, blow off the tops a little bit more. But the reality is, I want to see a pullback. I hope there's a correction. I hope we have just some type of normalcy and wave cycle to get the markets back into a correction territory that we can then be ready to buy. So, same thing with cryptocurrencies. I mean, we talked about this. Gary and Tyson and I talked about this. Okay, so over the weekend, Bitcoin broke 60,000. Is it good news for us that are holding cryptocurrencies? Of course. It's awesome to see cryptos going higher. It's awesome to see that they continue to go to new highs. But then what happens right after it breaks a high at 61,000? It drops 10% on news that India is going to ban cryptocurrencies. So if you're paying attention to like the news, okay, so it breaks a new high, then we have this like dire headline that pulls it right back down. You're going to see the same thing in stocks. One day it's going to be, you can't stop it. The next day it's going to be, you got rates on the rise. The Fed's going to start raising rates. You can't win. Like whatever your angle is in the market, fundamentally, you can't win. One day it's bullish, one day it's bearish, but keep watching your charts. I'm saying right now that stocks are elevated. I'm saying that right now prices are high, but if and when we have pullbacks, have a position in mind. If I wanted to take $10,000 and put it into any one, let's say for $10,000, all hypothetical, that you take Tyson's 4 stocks that he showed today, right? Let's say for the sake of just making it really simple on the dollar amounts. So he has 4 stocks, okay? $10,000 is your portfolio. You've got 4 stocks, so that's $2,500 per stock, right? Well, if I was going to divvy that up, I would essentially say, okay, I've got $2,500 to allocate per stock. I would probably split that up into like 3 to 4 chunks. Let's say 5 chunks for the sake of math. Like $500, you could do that 5 times on each stock. And you can just start leveling yourself into great support and resistance levels. Now, of the ones that Tyson's mentioned, GIK, VIH, GNOG, LLT, those are all at levels where if I was in lots, for example, let's use that one. If I got in lots at $9, guess where my next one is? $7.50. Where's my next one? $5. Where's my next one? $2.50. And my bottom is 0. If it goes to 0, then I spaced out my $2,500 and it just didn't work out. But the upside of cost averaging in, having some great levels to build off of, you could realistically build a $5 stock and have it be a $20, $30, $40 stock at some point. And that is, that's where Tyson talked about the 5x, the 5x and the 10x, these massive increases. So that's the beauty of stocks. I mean, the downside in stocks is essentially the company has to go completely bankrupt. Things have to go to hell in a handbasket. But if you just don't put in so much money up front, guess what? You always have a position. You can always add more. You can always add more capital. You can always cost average. Now, I'd say the mentality has to be, you got to be more long-term committed. You can't let the dips of the markets overall and the decrease in the markets overall, short term, you can't let that fake you out of what your long-term goals are. So I think what was interesting was last year, seeing how many short-term traders made a lot of money. How many day traders, how many options traders, how many people they just bought everything that they could and just saw ridiculous amounts of gains. That's great. In a perfect environment, in the perfect volatility, when everything is nothing but bullish, it's the easiest way to trade. And that is why stocks became super popular. And that is why stocks will continue to be super popular, because there's always opportunity. But from a risk management side, you still have to calculate that risk. I would rather look at myself as a stock investor, as a venture capitalist that spaces out my risk, allocates my risk to all these different sectors, be diversified, and your winners are going to outpace your losers. Calculate your risk, know the downside. You can strike out hundreds of times and still make a lot of money, right? And so as a trader, it is about risk management. And in the stock world, where there's literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stocks to choose from, we're trying to filter out by sector. We're trying to filter out by prices and value. And right now, I think the hard part is trying to find stocks that are of value or actually discounted at levels that we'd be interested in buying in. So I love the 4 stocks that Tyson just mentioned. I know we've got tons more to talk about just on that front, like finding a great stock and evaluating stocks. But there's so much opportunity out there, everybody. And all I'm saying is just, don't commit to the highs. Like, don't think that you're missing out from last year. Don't think because now I've got some fresh stimulus money, got to put it all in at the tops. It's like, space it out. You have some capital, learn how to use it, learn how to use some risk management, and build a portfolio. And again, this is a long-term game.
And there's ways that we could do that. If I could just jump in just real quick, Gary, because you mentioned a lot of really important things. In the stock market, it's so important to know what you own. And there's so many traders out there, investors out there, that don't have any clue what they own. I'll give you an example. Here's a risk-less trade. I like selling Carvana and buying lots. Why? Because based upon valuation of 2023 revenue, Carvana is trading at 5.5 times 2023 revenue. Car Lots is trading at nearly 1 times. So therefore, the upside is substantially higher in companies that are very, very similar, fundamentally speaking. Yes, Carvana has the lead. We're talking about a $5 billion company compared to a $50 billion company. I get it. But as far as valuation goes, and eventually the market's going to care about valuation. And when we get to that point, these companies that are beat down, that are fairly valued, like Car Lots, like Lightning E-Motors and GNOG, those are the companies that are, even in a downside market, they're going to find money because people are going to start to look for value. Give you another example. I love selling CCIV, which is merging with Lucid Motors. Here's the deal. Yeah. CCIV is trading at a $46 billion valuation. Post-merger valuation of $46 billion. They haven't made a car yet. Fisker, on the other hand, is trading for $6 billion. Guys, I think Fisker is going to be just as big, if not bigger, when it's all said and done. I would rather, how about this? Buy Fisker, sell CCIV, do what's called a pairs trade, or just pick the one that's the better valuation, Fisker. And so you got to know what the sectors are, and then you got to know which ones actually offer value. And that goes back to knowing what you own. And if you know what you own, you're not afraid of a sell-off. Because as long as the underlying fundamental aspects of the company, same thing in crypto, as long as the fundamental underlying aspects haven't changed, look at lower prices as a gift. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Gary?
Man, I'm just sitting here and I'm just listening to you guys, and I'm like, you know what, this is fantastic. But you know what, I do believe that there's a course coming out. You guys are going to be pushing and driving a stocks course in the near future. And all of the stuff that you're talking about right now is things that we're going to bring to the course, right?
Yeah, this and more, and it's a little covert a little bit at this point, but I got to tell you, Gary, Chris and I have got some things planned that we're going to be coming out with in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, that we're going to be sharing with everybody, that I think is going to revolutionize the way that a lot of our traders at Market Traders Institute trade, a lot of the ways that you look at the markets. And what I think it's going to do ultimately is it's going to help traders generate more income and smooth out their equity curve. as an example, if my Forex trading is going through a little bit of a drawdown, but I'm going through equity highs in my equities trading or options trading, then you know what? I can continue to live the lifestyle that I'm living right now. I don't have to live and die by one set of performance, and that's really important. And but we've got a lot planned. I hear it every day, Gary. Hey, Tyson, I would love to have a daily trading session talking about stocks and crypto, supply and demand and all that kind of stuff. Well, stay tuned because we've got some amazing things coming down the road real soon.
Oh yeah, that's definitely coming. I mean, we hear about that every single day. Emails coming through, people chatting in the chat rooms talking about stocks. So this is a big hype that's really exciting. That's going to take place for the next couple of weeks.
But there's also a lot of junk out there too, and that's another reason why I think it's so imperative for us to do this now is because there's some people. Listen, there's some people out there that are great. They know what they're doing. They're really good. But to sort through the ones that know what they're doing compared to those that don't know what they're doing is difficult. It's almost like a full-time job. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that we bring high quality, timely content, and then ways that we can actually prosper and ways that we can personally trade in front of you, set up accounts, and you guys can watch along with us, which is going to be great.
Perfect. Hey guys, I want to shoot over. We've got a bit of time still left here, but I still want to go ahead and talk more about cryptos. But also just go ahead and take a look at a couple of currency pairs as well. Cryptos, Bitcoin. We know that Bitcoin hit highs this week over the weekend, dropped back down. The same thing happened with Ethereum. Ethereum never took out the highs that it made a few weeks ago when we hit 2,000. So we didn't get into the 2,000 mark, but Ethereum has now dropped off as well, just like Bitcoin did as well. Any altcoins? Because I'm crazy about buying into altcoins right now, Tyson. So any altcoins that you got your eye on that traders should pay attention to, because getting that low value altcoins doing exactly what Chris spoke about, like just starting to level in on those positions, basically the same sort of strategy we do stock. I do that with cryptos. Every now and then I throw some money at some cryptos, and the altcoins are my biggest winners. So anything that you keeping your eye on that you can tell the students about?
Tyson, I was going to say, can you actually give a backstory on how you've been following Mana?
Yeah, so Mana, M-A-N-A is, I've been on this story since late 2017. I started hearing about this virtual land, this virtual real estate sale that was happening on a website called Decentraland. And I was like, man, this is kind of interesting. This seems, because my kids at the time, it was actually a little bit earlier than this, my kids were like really into Minecraft. And I started to look at this, and I'm like, man, this is kind of like Minecraft for adults. And my whole my brain just started going in different ways. Like, I didn't foresee COVID or anything like that, but I was like, man, we're gonna start. I imagine a day that all three of us were, hey, let's go check out that movie, and we're all sitting in a movie theater. You guys are, Chris is in Michigan, I'm in Minnesota, Gary's in Florida, and we're sitting there watching a movie together. And it looks like we're together, sitting next to each other. We're having a conversation, and it seems like we're live with each other, but we're actually in this virtual land. And I was like, man, that's where we're going. It's going to happen. COVID's kind of accelerated that. And there's this land called Decentraland. I own a plot of land, and I bought this plot of land in late 2019. But I've been an investor in Mana since late 2017, 2018. It's the buzz. You hear about these non-fungible tokens, these NFTs. That's essentially what Mana's built on. It's companies are going in, they're buying land, they're building whatever they want to on that piece of land, and what they're doing is they're then using that information. They're selling art pieces. There's Atari. The gaming developer just bought a piece of land in Decentraland to develop an Atari game in a casino within Decentraland. That's the kind of huge stuff that's happening right now. I've got a piece of land that I've got a couple ideas that I'm floating around on because I want to start monetizing it. So I want to start to generate, either rent it out to somebody who wants to build off of it or monetize it myself. And I've got a couple ideas I'm playing around with, but Mana is awesome. You can invest in it with the Mana coin. And every time that somebody buys a piece of land on Decentraland, those Mana are burnt. So it's got a deflationary effect to it. Mana value goes up the more people who are involved in Decentraland going in, because that's the native coin. You can only transact in Mana. So let's say I wanted to put trading education in my land on Mana, right? Market Traders Institute could own a piece of land, and we could have, instead of going to GoToWebinar, we could have all our students go to Decentraland, and we could host these virtual, live sessions. Well, then guess what? If you want to transact with, hey, buy this indicator, buy this course, whatever it might be, we can then help you guys transact in Mana. Again, that's down the road, but that's kind of the future that I believe we're moving into. I think Decentraland has that. They're kind of like the Bitcoin of this world. They were one of the first, and I think it's going to be huge. I think it's now broke above $1. We started buying it in the crypto sessions right around 7 to 8 cents. Here's the problem. I still hold a big chunk of Mana, or a pretty good chunk of Mana. I got cautious about a month and a half ago with the election crap that went on, and the a little bit of totalitarian type of regimes we have running this world, as far as the shutting down of like the parlors and stuff. That's my only concern with the Mana, is it is a decentralized world, so there's going to be some nefarious things going on within the world that, in these little corners of the world. We've got to understand that. And will that cause regulators to come in and say, you know what, we can't have this, and shut it down? That is a risk. So, it's not something I'd go all in on. It is absolutely worth a speculation play. It's trading at about $1 now, $1.15, which is an amazing return. It could be a $100 token in the next 5 years or higher. If it goes to where I think it can go. But there are some risks in it. Litecoin is, if I'm going to choose a safe altcoin, and I wouldn't even consider Litecoin an altcoin, but a safe altcoin, Litecoin is it, because technically speaking, it is sitting at a substantially suppressed relative value to Bitcoin. It is also trading under 1% of the overall market capitalization of the cryptocurrency market. And every time it's done that historically, it only stays there for so long before it pops higher. And right now it's not sitting that high above its mining costs. So therefore, Litecoin, for the last about week and a half, and I think it's probably going to be for the next few weeks, Litecoin is the best place, I think, to hide out in. And if everything falls, which I expect things to fall, Litecoin should fall less, which means, and this is hard for people to understand, I don't care about the dollars in my account. I care about the Satoshis. How many Bitcoin can I have? So let's say that I have one Bitcoin equivalent to 1 Bitcoin right now, and I decide to take that 1 Bitcoin and buy Litecoin. If everything falls, I don't care, because what if in 2 weeks, I can sell my Litecoin and buy back Bitcoin, but now I can buy back 1.25 Bitcoin. I've accomplished what I want to accomplish. So, because, people ask, well, when are you going to sell your Bitcoin? Never. I think Bitcoin is going to be my store of value forever, and I think I'm going to transact in blockchain, Ethereum, Litecoin, and something. So never. So my goal is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as I possibly can, and go in and out of coins when we should. And Litecoin right now, I think, offers the best relative value.
Perfect. All right, that's good. Chris, you want to add something to that?
No, I mean, Tyson, I pull from your Ultimate Crypto series every week in the Flex Room, because when you throw out like just the nice clean portfolio, this is what you're getting into. This is what you're talking about. I love the fact that we hint about this a lot in AAA sessions. But I have had my eyes open to, like, I'm in 9 coins right now, and I feel like that's a pretty decent start. And the same thing, it's like, I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to be an investor in this. I'm excited to have a stake and some skin in the game. And I've crunched the numbers. If Bitcoin goes to 100 grand, where am I at portfolio wise? If Bitcoin goes to 500 grand, where am I at portfolio wise? Like, it's a life changer. And again, minimum downside. This is a finite amount that I decided to put in the table and invest. And it could go to zero, and I'm prepared for that. It's not it's not betting the farm. It's not mortgaging my house. It's not losing everything I had because Bitcoin didn't work out. This is a calculated risk. But the upside is absolutely incredible. So, again, we're not telling anybody you have to jump in and all of a sudden start playing the game of cryptocurrencies. But the reality is, you're clearly starting to see more about them. You're clearly starting to see more legitimacy to them. They're being more and more adopted. They're being more and more transacted in on day-to-day things. And all this is going to do is continue to add to the legitimacy. And also, I actually talked about this morning. I also think that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are stealing a bit of the thunder from gold. If you think about what gold has done, like, it's an anti-dollar play, it's an anti-stock market play, it's a hedge play. Look at what cryptos have offered investors in the last 2 years. Gold, as we hit the highs at, $2,100 last year, we're dropping back down. If you look at a chart of gold could legitimately drop all the way back down to $1,200 or $1,300 and never return to $2,000 without having some major I would say like we'd have to have a big scare in the stock market to see gold all of a sudden reassert itself as this major safe haven play. So I think that gold is in a corrective channel. I think it could stay that way for a while, and we might even surprise ourselves to see gold continue to decline and just stay like lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And if we have a dollar range, we have a gold range, we have an oil range, again, traders are going to be looking for growth opportunities, and that growth is going to be in stocks, and that growth is going to be in cryptocurrencies.
I don't know how anybody can be long-term bullish gold, man. Technology has helped us find more gold than we thought we had. The use of gold has substantially dropped. Some could argue, well, wait a minute, technology's made it increase, but there are better metals out there to use gold for technologies. And then what about I've got a gold ring. Well, who cares if it's gold? Whether it's gold or silver or platinum, whatever it might be, we just say, oh, it's got to be gold.
Mine's rubber.
Gold is,
I think your wife cares if it's gold.
I believe the value of gold is however much it costs to get it out of the ground, and not much higher.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so look, we've covered a lot on stocks. We've covered some cryptos, currency pair. I'm going to go ahead and throw one out there, guys, and I'm going to go to US dollar Canadian. In fact, the reason why I'm looking at US dollar CAD is because there's a lot of Canadian crosses across the board that are showing a bit of weakness in Canadian. We had the news come out last week. It was positive. The jobs reports last week. It was positive. We saw a big, strong move in the Canadian dollar. But I'm going to go ahead and venture out to say that we're looking for the US dollar CAD to rally up to a 129. We're still in this wedge, this falling wedge right here. If we can break through 126.60 around about there, we should be heading up towards around 129. So where it's at right now, right here where it's at right now, I'm going to go ahead and say that we have a buy option right now. Now, if you look for a 20 pip grab, then all you're going to be doing is looking for 20 pips from the price to be trading at right now. Let me go to lower time frame, and let's open up this. So this is the this is the 1 hour time frame right here. We have a upward swing from the low right here. We have a butterfly pattern just indicating some sort of correction move, which is happening right now. I'm going to go ahead and say that buys are going to take place at the moment right now at where price is trading. What price is? 24.75. So there it is there. Write this down. There's the entry price. 124.75 is the first entry point. I'll go ahead and put another entry point 25 pips below that, so 124.50. I'll put another entry point 124.25. So let's go ahead and recap again. So 24.75 first entry point, second entry point is at 24.50. Third entry point is going to be at 24.25. And then the last entry point will be at 2400. So we got 4 entry points. This is the entry point. We're only looking for a net profit of 20 pips. Net profit of 20 pips. All right. So check it out. It is currently right now hot, in my opinion. 25 pip spacing between entry points. First entry point at 24.75. Looking for a 20 pip grab. So before we hit 25, that'll be your target. And if it does go back down below this and picks us up at the second entry point, we're still looking for a net positive 20 pips. So basically, when it comes back up to the first entry point, that's when you're going to capture out. If we drop back down to the third entry point, we're looking at price moving just above the second entry point, halfway between. Again, a 20 pip net, that's all you're looking for. If we drop back to the fourth entry point, which means it takes out that low there, fourth entry point, I'll be looking to get out at break even and then make a decision from that point onwards. So my break even would be, if we get to the fourth entry point, I'll look for break even. If I get to the first, second, or third entry point, look for a net positive of 20 pips. We'll see what that happens. And again, if we do break above that 126.50 level, nope, let's just take a look at the exact level. Yeah, so if we break above, it looks like now it's a little bit lower than that. It even could be around about 126. If we break above 126, which is a downward trend line, we'll be chasing after 129, almost 130. So 129, let's call it 95. So 129.95 will be the upside target on that setup right there. All right, guys, that runs up the session for today. I appreciate Tyson, Chris, guys, bring a lot of input. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to seeing what you guys do with the stocks sessions. I think everyone's pretty excited about that. So we're gonna have some more conversation about that next week, right?
Like button, like Donna says, let's get these likes through the roof, man. We've got to trick this YouTube algorithm somehow, because we're dropping golden nuggets on you right now. And I'm not talking about the stock. I'm talking about the content here. And
yes,
we need more
absolutely.
people watching.
Yes, don't just click on the button. Smash the like button.
Exactly.
Smash the like button, guys, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Tyson and Chris, we're going to bring some more conversation about this again next week, right? Monday on stocks.
Yep,
absolutely.
Good stuff. So look out for the next video next week live. We'll see everyone back then. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you, and we'll see everyone next week. Thank you.
Thank you, traders.